I think we're live. Motherfucker. Sorry, guys. YouTube and this stupid two-factor authentication is ridiculous. So I don't know. Can y'all hear me? I got to get Chris in, my partner. Sorry, guys. I literally spent the last 6 minutes trying to get in. Try this again. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Let me know if you can, please. Chris, I think we're live, man.
You're live.
I think so. I can't tell, man. It looks like we're live, but anyway.
Right. Welcome to Hump Hangout. This is the 26th of April, and we are on episode 441. Bradley is already here as well. How are you doing today, Bradley?
Frustrated, but
Frustrated.
Here nonetheless. So
got you. You got the link swapped already?
Pop out chat. There we go. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry.
Perfect.
You guys not seeing? I know you are. You're just not seeing you.
Got you. That was the issue. Sorry for the technical difficulties today.
Christ, man. Between the Mevo shit that I go through every morning for Twitch, which is just, it's an absolute nightmare. Had I known it was going to be like that, I mean, I spent like almost $3,000 on Mevo stuff. No shit. And it just every morning it gives me nothing but trouble, and it drives me up a wall. And now this two-factor authentication with Zoom, every time for 3 weeks now in a row, every time we go to start these Hump Day Hangouts, we got to jump through 18 hoops. Oh, God. Jesus Christ, man. I quit drinking last year, man, but I'm considering starting back up.
Take it easy, man. Like, it is what it is.
Anyways,
Hey,
guys. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. Now that I've complained a bit, which I do in the mornings early.
Yeah, like if you haven't realized, Bradley's on every morning pretty much at 6 a.m. Eastern.
6:30.
6:30
Yeah.
On Twitch. And I sometimes look at it as well, like it's, well, he is fully passionate about his SEO business. Let's call it that way.
Yeah. I do love it, but I do get frustrated, and we all do. And so I have my way of working through my frustration, which a lot of times just cussing. It just makes me feel better. So anyway, all right, guys, while we're here, what announcements do we have?
We have a couple announcements. Number one, Reddit deal is still on. So like if you're looking for any gigs or something like that on Reddit, we have a special coupon code. I'll post it in the chat in a bit.
Yeah, let me expand on that. Vasco reached out to me yesterday and said that he upped it to 10%. So it's 10% off any service, not just my services, and some and vetted, but vetted with 3 T's. So it's VETTTED.com, vetted.com. But if you use the coupon code semantic, you can get 10% off any service on the entire site. So check it out. Captain Morgan, what's up, buddy? He shows up on Twitch most mornings. So anyway, what's next?
All right. The other thing, we have a couple of web apps that one of our friends developed. Do we have anything specific to say about the web apps from Chris?
Just that he's our support manager. He developed a couple of apps over at least 2 years ago now, maybe a little bit over, that I've used for 2 years that are great. Very inexpensive. They're just for local SEO stuff, just data type apps that help with local SEO. Very inexpensive, but useful tools that I've been using for 2 years. I pushed him to to try to release those to a larger audience than just me. And finally he did it. So it's available now. So yeah, drop that link whenever you want, Chris. And very inexpensive, but handy tools to have. So I would encourage you to check them out.
Got you. The other thing, what's happening in Semantic Mastery Mastermind, like I heard there was this very special webinar last week. Do you want to talk about it, or we keep it a secret?
What's the very special webinar we did last week? I don't even remember.
About the GVP stuff.
Oh, well, that was a meeting, the Build with Bradley meeting. No, I'm not talking about that here. No. I revealed what I wanted to reveal on that, and that wasn't recorded either. So
so missed out, sorry. Anyways, like if you're ready to join the mastermind with all kinds of specials going on there, Bradley is building all the time on his agencies and sharing his working procedures, SOPs and stuff. And if you want to scale your agencies to at least 40K monthly recurring revenue, I highly recommend you join. We'll drop the link in a bit as well there. The other thing, obviously, you're already on YouTube. Make sure you give us a follow and subscribe to our channel. And if you can, also follow us on Twitter. As I said last week, there will be a couple specials coming up. Not sure like this week, but like in about 2 to 3 weeks. So be prepared and be on there. I think that's it for the announcements for today.
Okay. Well, let's jump into it then.
Let's jump in. Yep.
We got a few pre-posted questions, and guys, should have room in the chat today too. So if we wrap up early, so be it. I got a lot of work to do. I'm really backed up this week. Really backed up, like 3 days now. Anyway, let me grab the screen and we'll jump into that. Some good questions up. First one from Sammy. Hey there, I have a quick question. I'm planning to buy your full training, which is $700. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Our full training is our mastermind, and we have a monthly and a quarterly offer, and neither one of them are $700. So I'm not sure what you mean by $700, what full training you're referring to, Sammy, but nonetheless, I'm going to continue. But today, get an email in which you were talking about the PBN command strategy, and you're offering free access to Rank and Rent Niche Course 2. I don't remember that either, but okay. If we buy your full training, would I get access to PBN and Rank and Rent Part 2 or Part 2 or as well? Or will I also need to buy these two trainings separately? Thanks. Now, listen, if you're in our mastermind, you get everything, absolutely everything that we have that we or will produce, you get access to. Like that's part of the mastermind. And that is $297 per month or $597 per quarter. So it's not, I don't know where $700 came from, but it's $600 per quarter, which basically means you buy 2 months, you get one free, right? 3 months for the price of 2. So that's how that works. If you join our mastermind, you get access to everything that we have. Period. When we do the Rank and Rent hybrid agency model training later this year, when that launches, that's going to be a separate program for new people entering the mastermind that they can opt or choose to join that program if they want, or just join the mastermind without joining that Rank and Rent hybrid agency model training. In the meantime, some of that training is being released into the mastermind as part of getting help from our mastermind members while I finish developing that training. There is going to be a small beta group that starts on Monday, May 15th. That's already all the slots are 100% filled. So that where I'm going to be going through this is kind of a dry run, the Rank and Rent hybrid agency model training with a small group so that I can finish developing it, work out any bugs and kinks and things like that, get feedback from the whole program. And then we're going to try to launch that at the fourth quarter of 2022 or 2023 this year. So October 1st or somewhere thereabouts is where we're planning on trying to launch that full training. So just so you know, as a mastermind member, you will get access to all the training that we currently have, and you'll get a lot of what I'm going to be developing between now and the launch date. But and grandfathered, like existing mastermind members will have access to the training, maybe not the course that we're going to, the kind of program that we're going to be developing will have daily meetings and accountability meetings and things like that. So that's going to be separate and apart, but you'll still have access to the training as a mastermind member. You can opt to join that program when it's available as well, but you don't have to because you'll still get training. You'll still get access to all the training, the SOPs and everything else. So hopefully that's clear. But what I'm saying is the mastermind is your best bet. There's no point in buying one-off courses from us unless you want to, because if you just join the mastermind, you're going to get them anyways. So that's what I always recommend to people do. Come join the mastermind. Even if you just buy for a quarter and stay for a quarter, get access to what you want to get access to. So be it. My point is, and I say this to people, come join the fucking mastermind because you'll get enough value that you likely won't leave, in my opinion. And if you do, then, so be it. It wasn't a fit. So, but the most cost-effective way to get our training is to join the mastermind, because not only do you get access to the training, but then you get access to me and the rest of the community, and you can ask questions and everything else. It's a lot more value that way than buying one-off courses. Okay. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Good question, Sammy, by the way. Would love to see you in the mastermind. Roger says, hey, Bradley, you mentioned that you did land flipping for a while before deciding to go full-time in SEO. Well, to be clear, I was full-time in SEO, and then I started doing land flipping as a side hustle. And it caused an internal dilemma for me because I really enjoyed the business and I made really, really good money at it very quickly. And so I struggled with an internal kind of dilemma for a year and a half where I considered leaving the SEO industry to just work on my land flipping business and using my marketing skills to really grow that business. But it was causing a lot of problems for me internally because I felt obligated to my partners and to you guys, our audience, seriously, that I would be abandoning you guys. I'm not kidding. And I struggled with that for a year and a half. And finally, I decided to give up the land flipping business because I didn't want to go put myself through that struggle anymore. And I decided to recommit back to SEO specifically for everybody else. Not that I'm trying to place blame on anybody. Like, I think I made the right choice. My businesses have grown considerably, but all my focus is back on SEO. And before it was split, and it was just too hard. I was spread too thin. So anyway, hopefully that clarifies that. What's your opinion on doing land flipping versus property tax lien deed investing? I don't know. I've never done that, but one of our longest and most valued members of our mastermind, Greg Drebert, he does tax lien and deed investing, and he loves it. And he actually was part of my land flipping group because I did a small coaching group on that for a few members, and he was part of that. He shared a lot of his tax lien deed training with the group. I've never done any of it, but he loves it. He's really good at it too. So, I mean, that would be Roger, if you end up joining our mastermind for whatever reason, which I would encourage you to do. I'd encourage all of you to do. But if you end up joining Roger, then perhaps you could get connected with Greg and the two of you could chat it out, because he's really, that's his primary business is real estate investing. He's still in our group and a valued member of our group, but yeah, that's his primary business now, I believe. Anyway, also is one better than the other? I don't know. I personally, because I never did tax lien or deed investing, I just stuck with, I used to wholesale residential houses from 2003 to 2008. And then I got out of the real estate business for many years. And then in 2019, I started flipping vacant land. I went to go start flipping houses again, but I realized that the house flipping business, quick turn real estate business and for houses was complete. It's super competitive, way more than it was from 2003 to 2008. And that's because it's become much popular because of shows like, Home and Garden TV and fix and flip shows and all that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot more competition. In land, it's a lot less competitive. It's a lot easier to get traction. You get much longer closing times. So I don't know about the tax lien stuff because I've not done any of that, but I love the land flipping business. It's a great business. Really, that's what I want to do is my retirement. Like when I've retired, that's all I plan on doing is just flipping land, is provided the laws are still the same at that point, about 10 years from now. Anyway, moving on. Also, is land flipping something we can do independent of one's location? Yes, because there's people in other countries flipping land in the United States. So yeah, you can absolutely do it independent, like doesn't matter where you're at. For example, if I'm not physically in the United States, can I be doing land flipping for land in the United States? Yes. And how would the tax implication be when one does land flipping? I can't answer that. You'll have to talk to a tax professional about that, especially when you're talking about if you're in a different country. I have no idea what the tax implications are for that kind of stuff. Talk to a CPA or a tax professional in your country. They should be able to tell you. So, and by the way, I don't do anything. I have a CPA. I've had a CPA for 13 or 14 years. I don't deal with any tax issues for my own business at all, period. So I can't ever answer any of those questions. I let her do that. So good business though. I love that business. Eventually I'll do it again. Desco says, can IFTTT rings works for large e-commerce sites with 100K products? Maybe. What I mean by maybe is yes, I would still encourage you to do it. You should have it doesn't have to be an IFTTT syndication ring. As a matter of fact, I don't even really do a lot of syndication anymore, but a branded network that's interlinked and connected back to the main website, the brand, that's important. And so, yeah, you can do that. If you do want to syndicate to a branded network, which you can do still from an e-commerce site, I would certainly not populate it with product feeds because you'll end up getting those Web 2 accounts terminated because it'll just blast it over and over and over again. But if you have a blog on your e-commerce site and you're publishing content to help promote your products, and product categories and stuff like that, then absolutely you can syndicate content from your blog to your branded network profiles using IFTTT or any other kind of syndication app or tool, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would encourage you to do that. Whether you syndicate or not, it's up to you, but at least having a branded network, that's important, guys. We're part of the semantic web. You help to strengthen the entity and kind of, build more authority to it, the entity, whether it's a local entity or an Ecomm entity, it doesn't matter, right? I do recommend doing that, but not just having Web 2.0 networks, properly optimizing them and then interlinking. That's what matters. Like just having profiles out there doesn't really help much. Fully optimizing them and interlinking them to help them become discoverable by Google. I do audits, and I just spent fucking 16 hours over the last 3 days now developing an SOP for how to do technical SEO audits. And I talk about this often, but the Google, the semantic web is about associations between entities, and the knowledge graph for a local entity or for a brand. You can consider it a brand. Let's just call it that. It's easier to conceptualize, in my opinion, that way. But a brand, if you've ever seen a diagram of a knowledge graph, what they call a linked data diagram, it's like a geometric shape with all these dots or these circles that are supposed to be, it's a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional object, right? Or so a linked data diagram has got these different size circles, which are supposed to be spheres. And the bigger the circle, the more, which by the way, those represent websites. The bigger the sphere, the more authoritative the site is. And that's how it represents the authority of the site. So like, for example, Wikipedia would be fucking huge, right? And then your money site or a local business site would be really tiny little dot. And then there's a bunch of links or lines that interlink these spheres, which are supposed to be links. They're connections, hyperlinks between those assets or properties. And so if you think about, like, analogy I like to think about with the semantic web is and helping to inform the knowledge graph is like a jigsaw puzzle, right? When you get a jigsaw puzzle, it's all these little pieces that when combined and assembled properly create one cohesive picture. It's like bits of data on the web for an entity, a local entity, all right? There's all these little bits of data that are on the web, but they're scattered all over. And Google tries to find all those pieces of data and assemble them into one cohesive picture, but it has trouble doing it on its own because of the sheer amount of data on the web and how much data is being entered into the web every day, especially because of AI assistance and all that. So the point that I'm trying to make is if you help Google to help your brand's assets or presence, branded presence on other websites, places on the web, if you can help Google to discover them, it can assemble that picture easier, right? It's called informing the knowledge graph. And so that's why I recommend, first of all, fully optimizing any profile. Anytime you're going to create a presence anywhere, fully optimize it and then interlink when possible. So interlink to other branded assets. Why? Because when Googlebot comes and crawls it, it will discover those links and crawl it out and say, oh, okay, this is also part of this entity, this brand. And it starts to assemble all these bits of data into a picture, right? A cohesive picture, one that can be identified as that local entity. So that's kind of an analogy I like to use. And so where there are some key places that it's really important to, or that you can help facilitate this informing of the knowledge graph, right? Which the Google Business website's one of them. It's a Google property. I see it all the time, guys, when I'm doing audits, that so many people still don't use it. And if it's not used properly, it doesn't do a damn thing anyway. So that's probably why, because people have probably tried to use it and didn't use it properly and it didn't produce any results. So they say, it's not worth it. I'm just not going to do it anymore. But if you do it properly, it's very valuable, right? So linking out with contextual links from the main content body of the Google Business website out to branded entity assets. It's a Google property. Google's going to come crawl that site. It doesn't matter whether no follow links or not. It's not about pushing link equity, none of that. It's about discoverability, helping Google to assemble that cohesive picture. You're informing the knowledge graph, assisting in that development of the knowledge graph, right? So it's really important, but also the Google Business posts, GB posts, guys, you can use the learn more button to link out to various branded and supporting assets. Again, they're Google properties. It's about helping Google to find them and say, oh, okay, this is part of this brand, right? That's how you build authority to the brand. And help, kind of put all those scattered pieces of data together. for Google. So there's the G site. If you do drive stacks, the G sheet that has all the links, you can, what do they concatenate? I can't say that fucking word, but you can create, like Backlink Factory does this very easily, but you can do it in sheets manually, but you can take all of your URLs and keywords and hyperlink them together and then publish the G sheet, embed that in like the ID page. An ID page is another critical part of helping to inform the knowledge graph. So there's all these things that you can do. Syndication networks or branded networks are part of that. If they're done properly, they can help to kind of assemble that picture, as I'm saying. Still a very valuable strategy today. It's just changed, right? Anyway, moving on. James Fully Love, what's up, man? He says, hey, Bradley, question. How do you use Zimm Writer for local content? I find it produces too much. Do you use the SEO blog writer? Yep, use it all the time. But what I do is, let me just open it up and I'll show you. So I use the SEO blog writer. And then what I do is like, for example, I'll just show you on my local Tree Care HQ site, which I pretty much finished this morning. I've still got one archive page to create, and I got one more location post to do, but I'm going to develop the SOP off that one. So all the content on this site was done with Zimm Writer. So like if we go into any one of the service area pages, this is what I like. It's the same 6 H tags, H2s, these tree care, it's the same. So what I do is I open up Zimm Writer, SEO blog writer. I create right here the 6, I put 6, hit enter. Then I go down here and I put in tree trimming, tree care, tree trimming and pruning, tree felling and removal, stump grinding and removal, arborist consultation, and tree and land clearing. Boom. And then I come down here and hit H2 section length. I typically do for these pages here, I put that on short, just like that. You can see now this, by the way, this could be changed. I could change the formatting of this and put these as like accordions or expandables and all that kind of stuff if I wanted, but I don't really care. What I care about this ranking, this page, and these are all links that go over to that specific section on the tree services page, right? So those are all jump links from the location pages to this specific H2s on this tree services page, if that makes sense. So these, and again, same thing. These are the same 6 H2s. There's no difference, right? And for this, I think I did really short, very short or tiny or something like that. Yeah. And then last thing, by the way, is I also always check this box. Well, you might not want to do it, but I always check the disable skinny paragraphs right there, because that gets rid of like the paragraphs, which is just one sentence. I don't like that. I think it looks funny. So I generally click that as well. Anyway, hopefully that's clear. I do use, this is every bit of content I produce now is through Zimm Writer. I even canceled Jasper. So I love Zimm Writer. Steve says, your AM Twitch often shows homepage images with an embedded QR code. Does this work to get more leads from site visitors, or is this a side benefit? No, it's an SEO thing. I doubt anybody's ever scanned any one of those images besides me. But Google reads QR codes. So it's a way to inject a link into an image, right? So that's why I do that. Because it's a link in an image. Google reads QR codes. So when you set a QR code that links to the page that image is on, it's just another kind of SEO. I used to do text overlay that I would change the opacity up to like 85 or something like that. So we used to take keywords and name, address, and phone number, etc., URLs, and overlay that as text onto the image, and then turn the opacity way up to like 85 or 90, to where as a human, you couldn't really see it unless you looked really, really closely, but the Google bot could read it. And it was just a way to inject relevance into that image. We can do the same thing with QR codes. So I just do that now with QR codes. I do that with all my sites. I just create QR codes and then put a logo overlay on the image along with a QR code overlay. And I do that for all my sites. It makes it others for, yeah, that's part of it. Because think about it, guys. Some of you probably experienced this, but it may still be going on, but I haven't seen it in a while. But every now and then I've had sites and client sites and stuff that somebody will hot link an image, and all of a sudden you'll get hundreds and sometimes thousands and even tens of thousands of backlinks from a hot linked image, which means an embedded image where somebody will take your image URL and then it gets pushed out across syndicated and all kinds of stuff. So if you have a QR code there, that's, acting kind of like a link in a way. It's just, my point is it's just more places for the Google bot to kind of reconfirm the brand and the entity, right? The other part is, like you said, with somebody wanting to steal the image. Nobody's going to want to steal an image if it's got a logo and a QR code overlaid on it. You know what I mean? And if they do, so be it. It's like a link back. So what difference does it make? Okay, good question. Richard says, any results of Backlink Factory report? I haven't even looked, to be honest. I haven't had the bandwidth, Richard. I'm completely overwhelmed right now with trying to get my training program together for the rank and rent hybrid agency stuff. So I don't have any bandwidth at all to test with any other kind of tools right now. As much as I want to, I can't do it right now. This has to take priority. So no. Any results to Evo 4 to report? Peter Drew messaged me last night. I got it this morning. We're going to schedule a call over the next day or two to talk about it. He's got a lot of new developments coming out, Richard. HTML templates are going to be released within the next week or so. He had some questions for me about that specifically. But he did tell me this, and I don't know how much I can reveal here, but he's invested a lot into some of his own AI servers because he's going to be rolling out a lot of new functionality that involves AI into Evo 4. I don't know what it is yet because he teased me when he messaged me last night about it. So I'm not even sure what the details are yet. But when I have a call with him in the next day or two or whatever, I'll find out more. Okay. So I don't have any results or anything to report on that now. He did say development has been trickier than he thought it was going to be. And that's part of the reason it's been delayed. So. Okay, guys, let's get into some chat and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Sleek Web Design says, hey, when will you guys finish moving over the SOPs to Circle? I mean, it's in progress, man. It takes time. So, probably within the next two to 3 weeks. Some of those aren't going to be moved though, because there's just no way to do it. They're too massive. And if you've been in our Circle community, whoever Sleek Web Designs is, and you try to open up one of the SOPs that has been converted into Circle, I tried to open one on my laptop the other day and it literally locked up my browser because there's like 40 fucking videos that are trying to load because so I don't like it. We're only doing that to accommodate people that want to complain about $28 a month for Flowster. So, and I'm not trying to make it difficult on people. I'm just saying it's going to break. There's so many videos in the SOPs that I create. When we try to put them all in one thread in Circle, it literally will lock up your browser because it's trying to load so many iframes. It took 8 minutes. I'm not kidding. I timed it. It took 8 entire minutes for the course to load. 8 minutes, guys. Who has that kind of time? I don't. So, it's incredibly frustrating. So, okay, why are you putting it all in one thread? I know that's the next question that's coming. Because there's a limited number of courses that we can have in Circle. And I develop SOPs for fucking everything. Like I have an SOP for how to blow my nose. You know what I mean? And so if we try to convert all of those SOPs into courses, we're going to run out of space in Circle very quickly. And then no additional SOPs are going to be able to be added anyways. So it's, the simple fix is just go subscribe to Flowster if you want my training and my SOPs in SOP format. Otherwise, we're going to have to think of another way to deliver the SOPs in non-SOP format and just training format, because what we've got in Circle is, in my opinion, is not usable. So I don't know what the answer is for that, guys. The simple answer is just use Flowster. But I know there's people that want to complain and bitch about $28 a month, and fine, I get it. You're paying for the mastermind. You shouldn't also have to pay for that. But it's a convenience factor that I think is totally worth it. And in my opinion, if $28 is going to make or break your business, you probably should be doing something else. Again, that's my opinion. I'm not here to pick on anybody or you specifically, Sleek Web Designs. I'm just saying that as kind of a general statement because it just baffles me that people sometimes saving a few bucks just costs too much. Or another term was stop walking over the dollars to get to the dimes. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my opinion. I understand not everybody agrees with that. I get it. That's fine. Just understand that it's difficult for us to move all that content into a usable format right now in Circle the way that we have it set up. So Chris, can you make a note of that? Maybe it's something we could look at some other kind of solution.
Will do.
I don't think what we have currently is going to work. I don't like it. Moving on. I was hung up in waiting room or something. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. When this rank and rent be released? As I mentioned earlier, our goal is to launch it by the fourth quarter, which is October 1st. That's the goal. Keyword man, best mastermind money you'll invest for training. I appreciate that, man, very much, very much. Cecilia says, if you check out his Twitch for the past few months, it's been pretty much an over-the-shoulder complete process for rank and rent course. Thank you, Cecilia. Cecilia's a beast too. She's incredibly helpful. What a valuable asset to our mastermind. I mean that, Cecilia. I appreciate you very much. You're so helpful. Just thank you. From niche selection to testing, competition, and picking geos to site setup, build out, and structure, etc. And it's free. Just send Bradley good vibes for his Mevo tech setup. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys, you troopers that show up every morning. Like, God bless you guys. I mean it. You guys are awesome. Keyword manager, I'd like to connect with Greg on tax things. Hey, you're in the group, dude. Hey, just contact Greg. If you want, I'll make a connection in the circle group between you two. Just we can start a thread. It'd be great because there's probably other people in the group that would benefit from that. I think you guys should. I always encourage other group members, mastermind members, to break out into small little mini masterminds, create like little accountability groups and meetings for yourselves. I always encourage that, guys. So definitely. Does mastermind include your new course for setting up a PBN yet? Yes, it does. Absolutely. As I said before, guys, I'll say it again. Everything is included in mastermind. You get everything. Full stop. Okay. So yes, local PBN command is free to mastermind members. It's included in the membership. IFTTT still works like a boss. I know it does. You're right. I don't do it much for syndication, but it does still work. The right strategy will find that IFTTT will be a great addition to a person's tool belt, which goes for anything in the industry. Agreed. I need to circle back around with IFTTT. It's been a while since I've used it after it broke on one of my main sites. Yeah, and there are bugs with it. There always have been. But the Syndication Academy training, Richard, is the best thing to do. I would encourage you to just go through that, and not even you. Put a VA in it. Like literally that whole program was designed not for any of us, the SEOs. It's for our virtual assistants. Literally, that's what it's for. Essie does an amazing job creating the updates where she talks about, 1 to 3 profiles per update webinar, where she talks about, here's another profile. It's got authority. Here's how to optimize. Here's how to create the account, optimize the profile, and interlink. And she's been doing that for a year and a half, almost probably close to 2 years now. So there's just a massive amount of training in there. So you can continually expand the entity footprint and form the knowledge graph. That's what I'm trying to explain. And it works. It works really well, but it's nothing that any one of us should be doing. It's something that you can hire, a $5, $6, $7 an hour virtual assistant, have them do that and just go through the training, plug them into the course and have them just go through it and build it out. Build out those, have them do a handful of profiles per week, something like that. Over time, it really does build and creates like this massive amount of authority to the brand if done properly. Okay. But it's time consuming and it's menial work, which is why I recommend you don't do it. Somebody else do it. Captain Morgan said, let me get this straight. You create keyword pages and location posts as part of this process, Bradley. The process equals tree felling, directory, site billing, QR, the new EXIF data. Okay, so there's multiple questions there. You create keyword pages and location posts as part of this process. I'm not sure I understand the question. So I have a services page, right? And then I have location pages. And that's it. And as I've demonstrated many, many times, but I'll do it again. There's a reason that I do it this way. Because what I'm doing is I'm associating the location page. So let's just use this as an example. Okay, I'm associating this location page, which is only optimized for one keyword, tree service, Winchester, Virginia. But I want this page to rank for tree service, tree care, tree trimming, tree removal, stump grinding, arborist keywords, arborist consulting, arborist service, etc. Land clearing. Those are the keywords I want it to rank for. but I've only got one page optimized for Winchester, which is, it's actually a post. Okay. So I demonstrate this many times, but the reason I do it this way is because every location page or post is linked to the tree services page. It's one services page, right? There's all these services that I want to rank for, but it's one services page. These are all jump links to go to the specific H2 sections on the services page. So every single location post on the site has these links, right? To go to, if I click it, you can see it goes to the tree care section on the tree services page, not the post, right? So there's associations here between the location and all of the services. Again, the semantic web's about associations, right? And relationships, right? So the point that I'm trying to make here is this is kind of an example of, and I always use this one because it's a low competition area, but it demonstrates what I am trying to accomplish. So I'm going to say Newberg, KY. I've tested this site structure for months, guys. I've got it on close to 20 sites now. And so anyway, here's two versions of that. Here's one here, not on Tree Care HQ, but you see it's the same template. It's similar setup. This one actually has four different service pages. I don't like that setup. It's more work than is needed because I can accomplish everything I want with one service page. So here's an example of that. So I just did a search for tree service, Newburgh, Kentucky. This page right here, one page, is ranking for tree service, but the actual title tag is tree maintenance, but it's ranking for tree service, right? Newburgh, Kentucky. Now take a look at this. Very similar. Like I said, we've got 4 services here instead of 6. There's only 4, and this is an earlier version of this kind of site structure. Like I said, I've been testing with this for months, so it's been evolving. The local Tree Care HQ site is the most current version that and it's also a little bit different because it's a multi-state project, et cetera. So the configuration is slightly different, but this one's got 4 services. All right. One page, the location, and this is a page, not a post location. Although on the newer versions that have evolved more, I'm using location posts, not pages. This is a location page. And again, I'm making the associations to these other services. So we just did tree service Newburgh. We can see it's ranking right there. Now let's go look for tree trimming. Right there, right? It's still ranking, even though the keyword is tree maintenance, which, by the way, that is the most all-encompassing keyword in the tree service business. And I can promise you that no one else in the tree service, I'm not going to say no one, I'm not going to say that. Very few, if anybody else, knows about that. And I didn't know about it until I started doing testing. I discovered this just within the last 3 or 4 months. The tree maintenance is by far the best keyword to optimize for tree service business because it covers all of the different services available. So that's why I'm pointing this out, because take a look, tree maintenance, Newburgh, Kentucky, boom, it's for tree trimming. So it's now ranked for tree service, tree trimming. Let's look for tree removal. If I could spell it. There it is, right? So tree removal. So it's ranking for all these different keywords, guys. That's the point that I'm trying to make. One page ranks for all the keywords that I want it to rank for. Why? Because of the way that we built the structure into the site. It's very important, that structure. And again, guys, I'm not kidding. I've got about, what month is it? April. So eight or 9 months of testing this particular type of structure. And I've tested different formats, different setups, everything else. And it's continued to evolve and get better every time. The most current, again, boom, tree care. Look at that. Guys, every freaking keyword that I want to rank for, it's there. One page, stump grinding. Let's try that one. This one's going to make a liar out of me. Nope, there it is. Boom. Look at that. Son of a bitch. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, come join the mastermind. Come get this training, guys. I can only teach so much on these. Well, or come watch like the crazy people that watch every morning on Twitch. You can do that too, because I'm doing everything there, but it's boring oftentimes, sometimes, because I'm quiet, because I'm working. But basically everything that I'm doing is taught there in Twitch, but it's raw video footage. So it's up to you. If you got that kind of time, just go watch all that stuff. If you want it condensed down in the SOP format and things like that, that's what the mastermind is for, right? So I can't give it all away here, guys. check land clearing. There it is. Every fucking keyword I want to rank that page for, it's ranked for. Guys, one page. It's because of the site setup, the site structure. It's incredibly valuable. Like, this is so powerful. I'm so glad I figured this out. And like I said, I've been spending months testing on this, but it works really well. So there you go. Okay. And Selma, what's up, buddy? This process equals tree felling, directory, site building. Well, that's part of it. Like, this is all part of the whole program that I'm developing is about using the directory as the linchpin of the entire agency. It's underpins everything. It's the directory, rank and rent, directory hybrid agency. That's what I'm calling it, because it's all about using the directory for prospecting and sales. Guys, you make money in the sale in SEO, not in the fulfillment. Yes, that's how you keep the money coming in, is by fulfilling, providing results. But you make money in the sale. And too many people in this industry focus on the technical aspect of SEO and not generating revenue, not making sales. If you're in client SEO, in my opinion, you should be focusing more on prospecting and sale, generating revenue, than executing SEO work. Granted, you have to be able to provide results for your clients, but you can outsource that, or you can build a team. What I'm saying is that I know, because I do onboarding calls with our mastermind members that join you get 30-minute call with me. So I ask questions of our mastermind members when they join. And where are you with your business? What are you struggling with? What are your goals? What's preventing you from reaching your goals? Things like that. I ask those kind of questions so I can get insight as to what's going on in our industry. And it helps me it gives me training reveals opportunities for training so that I can create. But what I hear over and over and over again is people come in that are making, and I was talking to my partners about this yesterday, the vast majority of people that join our mastermind are usually in the 5 to 15K per month range. That's our audience. That's who joins our mastermind. And what I'm trying to start conveying to members more is to, generate revenue. If you can get your agency producing 20, 30K a month or more, all of a sudden that makes your whole job a lot easier, because you've got revenue, money. Our former partner, Hernan, used to say, sales cures all. And he's right. Having revenue makes running an agency so much better, because you can get results for your clients because you have the revenue to do it. You can buy the tools, the apps, hire personnel, hire help, right? You can do all those things that revenue helps. You can't do it as a one-man show. And if you are focusing on executing SEO, like getting good at SEO and ranking stuff, you're not, most likely that's what you're doing. You're spending all your time on SEO tasks, not generating revenue. So it's clear to me, it's very apparent, it's obvious why there's a lot of hungry SEOs in the local SEO space, because they focus too much on the technical fulfillment side of things. That is absolutely important. I get it, but you make the money on the sale. So why not put more energy into prospecting and sales and developing a system that helps facilitate that, which is precisely why I'm developing this training program with the rank and rent hybrid agency model, because the directory for me and my own agency has been by far, hands down, full stop, just not even close, the best thing that I ever did for my agency. And now using that directory and then piggybacking off of that to build local lead gen sites on the authority of the directory and that brand, that is like, that right there is a whole new business model. And so then I'm also doing some other tests in the mastermind, which I revealed a little bit of that yesterday. I'm not going to talk about that here. But I'm still finding additional ways to add to the rank and rent side of things, right? So we can go into an area and dominate. We can use the local site on the directory. By the way, why are we doing this? Because if you have a directory, as soon as you find an area that you're going to go enter with rank and rent assets, you have the mechanism to find the lead buyer or whoever you're going to rent the assets to, right? Because it's all part of the same brand. If you're going to go build a rank and rent agency or a business, then what are you doing to sell to them other than what all the other SEOs in the world and all the other lead gen companies like Angie and Home Advisor and all them do, right? You're going to contact and pester the shit out of people, the contractors or the businesses that you're trying to lease the assets to or sell the leads to. They get those kind of solicitation calls every day. So you're just another you're a dime. You're no different than any other solicitors or spammers. The difference with a directory site is you can approach them and you can build authority and a presence in their area that would, that has a brand behind it that separates you, right? It's a boutique. In other words, you're also a specialist. You speak the language of that particular business type that you're approaching, right? You have all of your marketing, all of your messaging, everything is geared specifically for them, which is way better than a lot of the generalist agencies. So it's an easier sale. Oftentimes they will seek you out anyway. Like I said, I haven't done any outbound prospecting for TrueCare HQ in over a year. It's been a year and a half because I get inbound leads from ranking #1 for tree service directory. And so again, it changes the psychology. It makes it so much easier to make a sale, to close a deal when they seek you out, than you pushing it upon them, right? There's a difference between push marketing and pull marketing. So building a brand that's specific to a particular industry makes you a big fish in a smaller pond versus a generalist, or which is a tiny fish in a huge ocean, like all the other lead generators out there and all big companies and little SEOs, right? All alike. They're all doing the same thing. They're generating leads and then they're constantly spamming and soliciting companies that provide those services to try to sell them those leads. You got to stand out. You got to separate yourself, differentiate yourself from the others. How do you do that? Build a specific agency around that and then use that to build authority. And eventually people will start coming to you. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. With the directory, you can piggyback off the authority of that brand. Over time, it will become recognizable. And then your whole job is going to get a lot easier, right? Anyway, a lot more is coming, guys. I've been working my ass off trying to get this together by the end of this year. So hopefully it will. We've got 10 more minutes. The use of JPEG instead of WebP is due to the metadata. Yes, but I'm not even doing the metadata right now. Like I said, I'm just doing QR codes and logo overlay. It just saves a ton of time. And I'm doing WebP images because they load faster, a lot faster. So I just switched to doing that. It's just easier to manage. It's easier to set up and they load faster. So. Okay, moving on. Let's see. You're doing the same thing with QR codes. Sleek web design, give me a thumbs up. All right, right on, man. By the way, I wasn't picking on you, just so you know. I wasn't directed at you. If you use a link tracker, you can then track actual QR code usage. Yes, I think you can. Yes, you can. Cecilia, oh, I'm blushing. You're welcome. Oh, thanks, Cecilia. Captain says, my final question for now, as I know, I'm on the fence on CTRify. I have put on the noob hat here, and hopefully you wouldn't mind indulging me about this tool. Can you quick demo? I don't have time right now. Sorry, man, but we only got about 8 minutes, but ask me tomorrow morning. Okay. If you show up tomorrow, like you normally do, ask me tomorrow and I'll take 10 or 15 minutes out of tomorrow morning and kind of give a quick tutorial on how I use it. Okay. So happy to do that. I'll talk about that tomorrow morning. Yes. Pete's got an AI course. Yeah, he does. Fourth Mind. He's really excited. Pete spent a lot of time over the last 6 weeks, just like maybe more, 6 or 8 weeks digging into AI stuff. I'm excited to see what he's got coming out because I know he's been really into AI stuff for the last couple of months. Jake says, what is the best link building method for a local roofing company or any service-based business? There is no local blogs where we can get links. So what is your recommendation? I promise you, you can get local links in your area, man. I 100% promise you can get them. And that's what the local PBN command course is that we have available, specifically about how to do that. Again, you can buy that as a one-off course. It's $297, or you can join a mastermind, $297 per month and get it there, or $597 per quarter, which is 3 months, and get it that way too, and access to everything else, including ask questions and all that. Look, I understand you might not be an SEO. Maybe I'm making an assumption here. I shouldn't. It sounds like you're a roofer looking for how to get better results for your roofing business. That's what it sounds like anyways. So maybe you don't need all the SEO stuff. That's fine. But wouldn't it be helpful to figure out a way to not only secure local links for your roofing business, which will help you to rank better in maps, but also to help with questions and things like that along the way. That's what the mastermind is for, right? So again, I would encourage you to check it out. I promise you, you can get local links. So yeah, I'm sure you can. There's a way to do it. That's what I teach in local PBN command. So what is your recommendation? I would encourage you to check that out. I mean, you can find domains that are expired that already have local backlinks pointing to them. That's the whole process in a nutshell there. Like, go out and find expired domains. I teach how to do it that already have local backlinks, and I teach you how to analyze them and look for local backlinks. If they already have local backlinks pointing to them, and you can purchase the domain for 10 to 15 bucks for a year, there you go. There's all the local backlinks you're ever going to need. You have to build it out, but it can be done. And it works. It works. Captain says, I get what you're building and why, just trying to adapt to some of this process. No, I understand that, Captain. That explanation wasn't directed specifically at you. I got a jet. See you in the morning, Bradley, Captain, keyword management. Yeah. You guys need to update your screen names. Would love to start a thread and connect with Greg and Circle. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you'd like, let me make a note of that. I'll create a thread there. You can, by the way, you don't need me to do it. You can do it. But if you want me to do it, I'm happy to. Okay. But I'm going to make the mention of that. Richard and Greg about real estate. Okay. I'll try to get that done later today. 5 more minutes. As someone new looking to come into SEO, do you show us how to build a site step-by-step as well? I have not, but that is in progress now with what I'm developing for this full training program for the Rank and Rent hybrid agency training. So yes, I don't have any step-by-step site building training right now because it's not something that I had developed, but it is currently in development for this particular site as well. This and a few different formats of this site structure, depending on what your goals are. Because again, I've got several different formats, depending on if it's a single location business or a single state business, or multi-location business, or a business that goes across multiple states, changes how the structure of the site would be built, things like that. So yeah, there is training going to be developed step by step for how to deploy these types of site structures in a few different formats, depending on what your needs are. Okay. But again, all that training won't probably be available until fourth quarter of 2023. No, I love it. I'm really dissecting your tree felling. Okay. Appreciate that, Bradley. I have someone in mind for syndication training work. Yep. Good. That's great. Put them into the Syndication Academy training. We literally set it up for that. We don't expect you guys to be in there. We expect you to put your VAs into it. Michael says it's 3:30 in the morning for me at Bradley Twitch time. Yeah, I understand. The replays are there though. I'm usually working alongside you in the morning. You're a necessary inspiration at this point. I appreciate all you're doing. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sales fixes everything. Yes, it does. Okay, I think we're done. Appreciate you guys. It's a great discussion today, and we wrapped up 3 minutes early instead of late.
Good
Right
stuff.
on.